guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got a nice one today. We're going to learn how to play Angel by Aerosmith. So we've got a couple of really cool guitar solos by Joe Perry. And this first one, which I just played, sounds nothing like their actual recording, and I know because I don't have all those effects on it. He's using like I believe an old Digitech whammy pedal or kind of a harmonizing thing and some delays and stuff. I didn't feel like spending a whole afternoon dialing that tone in, so, but this is what he's actually playing, and if you have that tone, it sounds like it. But it sounds great by itself as well, too, so don't worry about it if you can't match the guitar tone. So we're going to learn all the parts here. We are tuned down a half step. So tune down every string on your guitar down a half step. If you don't know those notes, they'll be in the description. All right, so let's take a look at this opening solo here now. Now, this first phrase here sounds like this. All right, so we got some crazy little guitar slides and some trills and stuff. So we're going to start here with this 12th fret on the high E string. Then, now that starts at the 12th fret on the low E string, 12 and 14, and then 11, 14 on the A, over to 11 on the D, then back to that 14 on the A string. So with this. All right, now we start the little ascending lick. So it sounds like to me, this first time of going through it, he does a slide. So it's sliding from 11 up to 14, back down to 11 on the D string. Then over to the 14th fret on the A string. So we have this coming out of the previous lick. All right, then we're going to slide up from 14 to 16 on the D string. And then we're going to do some, we're going to pull off to 14, hammer back to 16, pull back off to 14. Then come over to the 16th fret on the G string and do a whole step bend and release. That's right. So it's a 16th fret bend and release, pull off to 13, and back to 16. You're gonna hammer back onto 16. So all together. All right, now from there, we're just gonna do a trill between 13 and 16 on the G string. Then do a bend there at that 16 and grab the 17th fret on the B string. Then pick that 16 again and release that bend. All right, next phrase is a pretty simple one. All right, so that's 16th fret there on the high E string. Just let it ring. And then you pick it again and do a series of half step bend and releases. Down to the 12th fret there on the high E. All right, next lick. All right, so this one's the most involved, but it's just kind of built around this kind of C sharp minor pentatonic, really. There's a couple other notes flown in there as well. So we're going to start here at the 12th fret on the high E string, down to 9. So when you get to this 12, hold it a little bit, and then you go to the 9th fret there on the high E, then 12, 10, 9 on the B string, over to 11 on the G string. Then we're going to do kind of a roll here from the 9th fret on the B string to the 9th fret on the G. And then the 11th fret on the G over to the 11th fret on the D. You don't have to do a roll there if you don't want to. And really kind of end this first half of it by just hammering 9 to 11 on the D, and then picking that 11 a few times. So and we're going to end this intro solo. So that's sliding into the 11th fret on the A string, then playing 9, 11 on the D. Then hit the 9th fret on the G string a few times. And then, so that's over to the 9th on the B string, and then pull off 10 to 9 on the B. And then play 9, 11, and then pick that 9 again. And a series of bend and release. He likes to use his index finger on that, and because it does an upward, that's all he does. So one more time. Now, what are the chords that are going on underneath that? What starts with this E power chord here. So that E is pretty simple there. We're just power chords. E power chord off the 7th fret of the A string. Have the open E with it. And then just take it over to the 7th fret on the low E for the B power chord. Then down to the A power chord to the 5th fret. Then back up to the B and repeat. This is similar to the chorus, but the chorus is slightly different. Now here's where it actually looks like the chorus. At the end of this intro guitar solo, the rhythm goes, instead of going B back to E, it goes B up to C sharp, which is what it's going to do during the chorus. And then back down to B and A. So your ears should probably be able to take you where we're going. We're just using a few simple power chords. All right, now we're going to have a verse, which the first time you hear the verse, you hear an acoustic guitar on it. It sounds like it's doing a little bit of hybrid picking. And then the second time, it's also mixed in with piano, so it's kind of, it might be kind of odd just to get it to sound exactly like it. And I don't think that Joe Perry really plays the part live like it's recorded, but I'm going to kind of do the acoustic guitar part like it was recorded. And then in the second one, you don't hear the guitar really, the second verse. It's the same progression though, so we'll just do the same thing for both verses and it sounds fine. All right, so let me play for you this part real quick. Takes us up to the pre-chorus. All right, so let's take a look at this. This first one is built around an E minor chord. Now, if you really want to make it simple, you don't have to do like the piano patterns or whatever. You can simply just strum, just go across an E major chord. Just kind of pick across it. Then an A. And then A sus4. And back down to A. Then back to E. And then take it up to a C sharp minor chord, which is the bar chord there at the 4th fret. And it's the 5th fret on the B and the 6th fret on the G and the D. And just kind of giving you a simplified way of doing it without the picking pattern going on. And then to a G sharp minor chord, which is just the full bar at the 4th fret with the 6th fret on the A and the D. Up to an A. So, all right, so just if you didn't want to do the pattern, you can just play the simple chords and just kind of pick across them randomly. It sounds great. So anyway, start with an E major chord. Now the picking pattern is just going to be this. I'm going to pick the open E, the A, and the D, back to the A. And then I'm going to use my middle and ring finger to pick the top 2 strings, the the 2 open strings, and just rotate between that and the 2nd fret with the pick on the D string. So we have this. All right, now this next one has a bit of a stretch. It's an A major chord, but we have this 5th fret there on the high E string as well. So you got to play the A with a bar with your 1st finger across the 2nd fret of the B, G, and the D string with the open A string. And then you're going to grab the high E string there at the 5th fret. So we're going to do the same pattern that we did before though, except we're going to start on the 5th string. So we're going to pick the 5th, the 4th, the 3rd, back to the 4th, and then we have this. Once again, hybrid picking the top 2 strings, and then picking the D string there with the 2nd fret. You're going to hold that now, and now lay the second, your middle finger at the 3rd fret on the B string. That's how we get that A sus4, and then back down to the A chord. So I have this. Back to the E. Just one time for the picking pattern there. Then we're going to move to that C sharp minor chord that I talked about earlier and do the picking pattern there. So we're just going to pick the 5th string and the 4th string and then go straight into the hybrid picking. So it's still the top 2 strings. Rotate it against the 4th fret, the 4th string that you're picking. Then down to the G sharp minor chord. And once again, pick the low E and the A string, and then just start the hybrid picking with the top 2 strings, and while also picking the D string. Just kind of going back and forth between the 2. And then up to an A, really just an A power chord. So you just play this, up at the 5th fret, the power chord, just play the 6th string and then the 5th, and then, which is just picking the A and the D string together, and then back there. All right, and then we actually make it to the pre-chorus of the song, and that sounds like this. All right, so pretty simple stuff. We just have the power chords there, starting the 7th fret up to the 9th. Each one hit twice, and then resolve it down to the 5th fret power chord, the A. Do that a few times. And then you just kind of build up at the end by bringing it back to the B power chord. Let's kind of kill it. And then we have the chorus, which is similar to the chord progression underneath the intro solo, but like I said, it goes up to the 6th chord there. So it sounds like this. So that's just the E, then the B, A, then B, up to the C sharp power chord. Then back down to B, and A, and then we're going to go back up to the B to start over. Back up to the 9th fret, and then resolve it down, 7, 5. And then that takes us back to the verse again, back to the same pre-chorus, and back to the chorus. All right, and then we have this cool little clean guitar solo by Joe Perry. So I'm gonna play through that real quick, kind of switch the neck pickup here, and a kind of a clean setting. And I'll play his solo, then I'll show you how to play it phrase by phrase. So here we go. All right, so it's a beautiful solo. So we have some nice little licks to learn here. The first phrase sounds like this. So that's going to start here on the 9th fret of the G string, and then 9 on the B, 10, back down to 9. Then shift down to the 9th fret there, hammer on, shift down to the 7th fret, hammer on to the 9, pull back off to the 7, over to the 9th fret on the G. So we have this. Then we're going to have a little hammer from 6 to 9 on the G string. Pull back off to 6, over to the 9 on the D. So we have this. I'm sorry, don't go to that 9 on the D yet. Just when you pull off to that 6th fret, just hold it. Now we go down to the next phrase, which we're going to start with that 9 on the D. It sounds like this. All right, so that's got some nice stuff in it. So we're going to start here in the 9th fret on the D, 9, 7, and then 6 twice. And then 9 on the A, 7 on the A, slide down to 4, and then back up to 7. All right, now we're going to start going back up to the scale. So it's 7, 9 on the A, 6, 9 on the D. And then real quick on the G string, we're going to play 6 and then a bend and release at the 9th fret on the G. And then a bend and release at the 12th fret on the B string. Let's do that one time. All right, now we have kind of an oblique bend, which is going to be, you're bending up the 11th fret there on the G string, and then play the 12th fret on the high E string. And then release, just kind of release that 11th fret bend, and then go down to the 9. And then we have the next phrase. All right, so he gets kind of those little kind of bluesy at the very end of that, and it's not the it's one of those parts that just getting it exactly right, it's going to be kind of difficult, but for the most part, everything is pretty easy to nail down. So before that little part, this is coming at a little the bend and release down to the 9. We're going to have hammer 9 to 11 on the D. And then play 9 twice on the G string. Then basically going to do that exact same lick starting on the 9th fret of the A string. So you're going to be going back over to the D string. And then you're going to do the same lick again that you started with. So it's just doing it on these two strings, back down to the A, then back up to the D. And then do a bend and release the 9th fret, pull off to 9, and then kind of pull off 11 to 9. All right, right here, he does a bend there, and just kind of goes across kind of rakes across the 2 9s on the B and the high E, and then kind of pull off a 9 to 11, 11 to 9, sorry. And then he does the oblique bend again, bending the 11th fret, but this time picking the 12th fret on the B string, release to 9. He might pick the 9 a couple times, and then does the bend again, And this time grabbing the 12 on the high E. Release that bend. And then he just starts making his way up, doing this kind of like a little gradual bend technique. There's this 9, 11. Bending the 11th fret there on the G right here is, like I said, it's kind of getting a little bit hard to just mimic exactly. But you're really gonna bend, start with a bend, and then just grab that note, the 9th fret on the B string, a couple times, then the 10th fret a couple times, and then bend it up a whole step. All right, the only other section we have here is the bridge. So it's the same kind of power chord shapes, just a little bit different order. That sounds like this. All right, so we're going to start here with the B, down to A, just power chords to the E, and then you can play the C sharp here, or here, wherever. Then back to the A, and end it on the B, and just, so it just kind of builds up there on the B there. All right, so it's got some nice, really not great guitar work, which is pretty common for Joe Perry anyway. It's got some cool licks in it, and it's a beautiful song. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning it. I'll see you guys again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.